YouTube wants to help musicians tour smarter, Amazon's advertising on its shipping boxes, and don't hold your breath for a new Apple TV. It's Wednesday, June 3rd, and this is Crunch Report. Well, we may not get that Apple TV refresh at next week's Worldwide Developers Conference. After all, the New York Times is reporting today that Apple decided recently to hold off announcing its new Apple TV set-top streaming box, citing people briefed on the device who tell the Times the product was not ready to be demonstrated. The report also claims that Apple TV content itself and Apple's plans to create a channel bundle of live programming for use across Apple devices just aren't in place yet. But even without the service, new Apple TV hardware was rumored to include an open Apple TV SDK, which would allow any third-party developer to build apps for the platform. People were pretty excited about that. In any case, we will find out on Monday, June 8th, when WWDC kicks off in San Francisco. In completely different Apple news, this week CEO Tim Cook kind of went for the jugular on the current state of consumer privacy rights. Cook was being honored for corporate leadership during an event in Washington put on by Epic, which is a nonprofit focused on privacy and civil liberties issues. He spoke remotely to the crowd about Apple's commitment to guarding privacy and security and protecting people's right to encryption, something he says Apple's competitors are not doing. In fact, Cook said, quote, "I'm speaking to you from Silicon Valley, where some of the most prominent and successful companies have built their businesses by lulling their customers into complacency about their personal information. They're gobbling up everything they can learn about you and trying to monetize it. We think that's wrong." Now, Cook didn't explicitly say something like Google's new free Photos product that was announced at I/O, but it certainly was implied. The CEO also stressed the importance about consumer rights to data encryption and the dangers of the U.S. government painting encryption as a terrorism enabler. Said Cook, "Weakening encryption or taking it away harms good people that are using it for the right reasons, and ultimately, I believe it has a chilling effect on our First Amendment rights and undermines our country's founding principles." Now for something completely different. YouTube ad revenue sharing is not exactly a cash cow for musicians who post videos to the service. These days, if you want to make money and you're an artist, you kind of have to tour successfully. But YouTube data can actually help with that. The company just launched a new tool called Music Insights that'll tell musicians the cities where their songs are most popular, which songs are most popular, and this is actually interesting, aggregate video views of artist content that might have been remixed somehow or used as a soundtrack in another video by a fan, which can be recognized by YouTube via Content ID. And it would give an artist, potentially, many more views altogether. YouTube says it wants to provide this data eventually through an API so artists and management teams can access richer information. It's also the latest in a series of features for artists specifically. Back in March, you might remember, the company launched info cards for artists to overlay on their video to display tour date information, t-shirt buying information, stuff like that. Its new fan funding feature also lets viewers digitally tip cash to their favorite performers. This month, in your regular delivery of cat litter from Amazon, you might notice something different about the shipping box. Like that it's a big advertisement. Amazon is actually trying this for the first time, kind of hard to believe. It's a new partnership between Universal Pictures and Illumination Entertainment. Amazon is now shipping very bright yellow delivery boxes that feature the cartoon characters from the upcoming movie Minions, which, if you don't have kids, is part of the popular Despicable Me franchise that my colleagues tell me is very funny. The boxes also show the movie's release date, July 10th, and also point to a special Amazon URL, amazon.com/minions, which is, as you might guess, dedicated to buying things that are also branded with the Minions and sold by Amazon. The company declined to say whether this partnership is just the beginning of a more custom-branded box of the future, but if it increases sales, I would put my money on yes. Speaking of franchises, are you a fan of the post-apocalyptic video game series Fallout? If so, congratulations, you are a patient person, because you've been waiting 5 years since the last game in the series, Fallout New Vegas, launched back in 2010. Until today, Bethesda Softworks has revealed Fallout 4, the first look at it anyway, and TechCrunch's Daryl Etherington notes that it looks a bit brighter than previous Fallout worlds, a little bit more vivid. A little bit of background if you're not super familiar with Fallout. The original Fallout was published by Interplay Entertainment back in 1997 and featured open world gameplay, essentially meaning you can roam around as a character throughout the desert and pretty much do whatever you wanted, fight people and all sorts of stuff. Fallout came to consoles with Fallout Brotherhood of Steel in 2004, then New Vegas in 2010, and now Fallout 4, which is actually, confusingly, the 5th major installment of the Fallout series, which will be released on Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. Bethesda hasn't given an official release date, but the company has said the first big reveal of the game will take place on June 14th at E3. And that is the report for this Wednesday. I am Sarah Lane. Crunch Report airs Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, right here on TechCrunch.com. We'll see you tomorrow.